Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining. Welcome to our webinar, SNS Cloud VPN, Convenient and Secure Remote Access to EVO. I am Melanie Ciotti, our Marketing Manager here at Studio Network Solutions. I'm very excited to introduce our speaker for today, SNS's co-founder and Chief Technology Officer, Eric Neubauer. Eric has been with SNS since the very beginning, and he's been a driving force behind the continuous development of EVO and its accompanying software tools, including the Share Browser Media Asset Manager, the Slingshot Automations Engine and API, Nomad, the remote editing utility built into EVO, and of course, what you've tuned in to learn about today, SNS Cloud VPN. You'll hear some of these terms throughout the presentation, so before we get started, I'll share a quick overview of EVO and the software tools that come included with it. EVO is much more than shared storage. It is a complete workflow solution for post-production, broadcast, marketing, education, worship, pro audio, VFX, and other content creators all around the world. Every EVO includes a suite of features built exclusively for media creation teams, whether those team members are in an office, at home, or anywhere in the world. Like I mentioned, with EVO, you get the high-performance remote workflow server purpose-built for creative media, plus you get powerful and easy-to-use media asset management with Share Browser, robust file automation and API integration with Slingshot, and our remote editing utility, Nomad. All of these software tools are included free in unlimited fashion for all new EVOs, and our products are scalable to accommodate your team's storage and workflow needs, from our small and mobile desktop units to multiple petabyte scale-out storage systems. Today, Eric is going to focus on how to activate all of these workflow tools when you aren't in the studio or office. Our newest EVO workflow solution, SNS VPN, is the best way to connect to your EVO when you're working from home, traveling, or wherever you need to be. And it's convenient, secure, and super fast to get started. Here is Eric Neubauer to tell you all about it.
Thanks, Melanie, and thank you very much to everyone for joining us today. So before we jump into our slides, I'd like to share a few things to let everyone know what's going on inside SNS lately. This year, like so many of you, we've experienced unprecedented shifts in how we do business. As we've always done, we continue to apply our resources to do everything we can to bring helpful features and products to our users. We know we're in a unique and important position to really contribute solutions to this year's problems and help our customers adapt and thrive in this surreal time we're all in. In the last 9 months, we've ramped up just about everything inside SNS, taking it as our ultimate responsibility to be part of the solution that combats business problems brought on by the pandemic. You saw us start this with Nomad, which we released on March 12th, weeks before most lockdowns began. Today, we have more people at SNS than ever before. Even though most of our company remains working from home, there's no hint of slowing down. We've increased our number of employees, our number of deployments, our outreach, and our engineering output. For us, this direction is a permanent shift to fully embrace not just in-house workflow, but also remote and freelance workers alike. We've always loved what we do here, and seeing how customers have looked to us this year more than any other adds more weight and gravity to everything we do. We're not hitting pause. We have much more in store for you. So with that, let's take a look at our newest product. In this presentation, we'll be taking a bit of a deep dive into SNS VPN. It's our cloud-based solution for remote access. Now, at times throughout this presentation, I'll use SNS VPN or SNS Cloud VPN. I'll use them interchangeably. There's no difference. They are the same thing. We'll start with some FAQs. And to best understand what SNS Cloud VPN is, we'll start by contrasting it to other VPN approaches. We'll clear up common misconception about what our VPN is not. And to make sure we're all on the same page, we'll then briefly cover what a VPN is, and then go into how ours is quite different. And finally, we'll go into pricing and then leave some time for questions. Right now, there's one question I'll address up front because I expect there are several in the audience for whom this applies. What if I already have a VPN? Well, what if you already have a VPN and maybe you registered simply out of curiosity and you're just half listening while you're working on other things? Should you really pay attention? Well, yes, we think you should stick around and pay attention. We think you'll like what you're about to hear. So much of what we're able to do for our customers is create solutions that have an inherent understanding of what media teams need, and in many cases, what they don't need. And this product is no different. We've already seen a surprising trend that indicates we'll be replacing more existing VPNs than we could have anticipated. Our VPN may be easier and faster, more secure, and more feature appropriate than what you're already using. I said a moment ago that I'd clear up a misconception. So before we really dive in, we first have to talk about what SNS Cloud VPN is not. You probably already know this, but we're already getting questions about it, so we'll take a moment here to clarify. Well, you've likely come across VPN services that bill themselves as a technique for data privacy, for hiding or anonymizing browser activity, especially for mobile devices. And you may have heard that a VPN scatters your IP address, so people, or bots, governments, etc., can't track your phone or your web history. Those are different uses for a VPN than what we're talking about today. Those kinds of VPN services are meant more for consumer privacy while browsing the internet. That is not quite the main purpose of SNS Cloud VPN. Well, what is it then? What kind of VPN are we talking about? What we'll be talking about today is the VPN that connects you or your computer or your mobile device to another device, and specifically a device that's on a non-public network like the one in your office. In our case, a VPN, or virtual private network, acts as a secure and encrypted tunnel that connects your remote workstation on your home Wi-Fi or any public internet connection to an EVO that lives on the private network at your office or your studio, your school, your church, etc. And to be even clearer, in our case, the purpose of SNS Cloud VPN is to give specific users on your team secure access to EVO. As you'll see, what we've created is an incredibly convenient and integrated way to do VPN. As you'd expect, we created SNS VPN specifically for media workflow, making it easy to install and use whether you have a dedicated IT department or no IT department, or zero technical and IT background whatsoever. SNS VPN is a service we've built into the cloud to help dramatically simplify a big part of the remote access need. At the heart of this product are three principal goals. One, security. If we couldn't do this securely, we didn't want any part of it. Security is built into every decision we make. Second is convenience. We want the quickest and most pain-free installation for customers. And the third is performance. It had to pass our own high expectations or we weren't releasing it. I need to stress this point. If you don't have a VPN for your creative team and you think you need one, it's nearly impossible to get any easier than this. Our service gives each subscriber their own virtual private network, which we fully host in regional data centers in major cities around the world. Essentially, SNS Cloud VPN ties together your EVO with your production team, wherever they are. It gives you unmatched convenience, especially at setup time, as well as built-in security, flexibility, and a feature set that is specific to media workflow. It's easy to set up, it's easy to use, easy to manage, and like the rest of our products, there is no per user pricing. We've been quietly rolling this out for months to pilot users in various parts of the world. It's already in place at a range of customers, from very small studios to federal government organizations. So again, to really understand what SNS VPN is, it's helpful to contrast how it differs from your typical way of doing VPN. Here's a diagram to illustrate that. Let's say this is your office here on the left, and your remote users are over here on the right. Currently in this diagram, the remote users are already connected to the internet, but they have no way of getting to these devices inside your office. Probably sounds familiar. You want some of these users to access something in your office. and you want that to be a secure connection. So what do? Well, you'd typically put in a VPN gateway. It usually comes in the form of a hardware appliance or server or a router, a Meraki, maybe something running OpenVPN. It's the thing that's responsible for enabling the private tunnel that allows the right side to securely authenticate and communicate with the left side. Well, setting up a traditional VPN requires selecting, installing, configuring, and managing a server in your office network, and usually requires modifying some firewall configurations. These firewall settings are critical to keeping your network secure. And once authenticated to the VPN, the remote computers then have the capability to attempt to access anything on the office network. But not every organization has the time or technical expertise to set up a traditional VPN. Or maybe it's just been too hard to get your IT department on board with the idea. Let's clear the slate and go back to where we started with this slide. SNS VPN is fundamentally different. First, it doesn't require any additional hardware to purchase or install. The server component is entirely cloud hosted, and there's typically no need to reprogram firewall rules on your network. Second, your Evo joins SNS VPN as a secure client, the same way your remote editors join your SNS VPN instance. And this is an important difference because the only thing in your office that SNS VPN is enabling connectivity to is your Evo, leaving the rest of your office network isolated. And this is an overall more secure approach, closer to a zero trust model. So hopefully you can already see that our VPN service is fundamentally different and that our approach is much easier to quickly deploy. But there's more. We're really just only getting started. I have some interesting things to show you. And as we go on, I think you'll see that this is a surprising and refreshing take on VPN. So in the next few slides, we'll cover the components of our service. We'll then focus on convenience. Security was and will stay at the core of every decision. So we'll go into some of that. We'll then talk about performance, monitoring, and ways you can use it in your workflow. So these are the main components of the SNS VPN service. And there are three. First is your company's cloud-based SNS VPN instance, which includes a dashboard for managing and monitoring your account, your users, etc. Second, there's a small software plugin that we install onto your Evo. And third, there's a piece of client-side VPN software that goes onto any device that should get remote access for Mac, Windows, or Linux. Let's take a look at the dashboard. This is your company's private cloud-based dashboard. It's where you can go to get the status of your VPN service, create VPN users, see which user has connected recently, and manage your subscription. From right here on this page, you can simply click a button to instantly and completely enable or disable remote access to your Evo. This is where you create users who can access your Evo through SNS VPN. From here, you can also easily see which user has recently been active on your company's VPN. You can also check approximately how much data each user has transferred this period. I mentioned earlier that, as you'd expect, we built this for media workflow. Here's an example. Let's say you need to hire a freelancer to do something on a project, and you know that that freelancer, they're just going to need access from, say, December 1st through December 15th. As you can see right here on this page, you can set a user to become active and or expire on a particular date. You don't have to remember to enable and then disable their access because it happens automatically. Our service is billed as one flat rate monthly, and included in that price is up to 10 terabytes of free data transfer. That's per month. We picked that allowance based on research of broadband averages around the world. And I'll talk more about this in later slides. But this is an allowance that we think many customers will not exceed. Maybe you're already thinking, well, you're not most customers and you may risk going over. Well, we're putting you in control of your budget. You can choose exactly what happens in your account so that you don't have to worry about exceeding a flat monthly rate. For example, you can choose a transfer threshold and set your account to throttle down or even temporarily deactivate if that amount is ever exceeded. And if your settings ever trigger, your service returns to normal at the beginning of your next billing cycle automatically, and your threshold settings stay just as you had them. Your dashboard gives you 3 tiers of user class, and those permissions are described right here. Here's another security feature we built into this service. Have you ever been given access to some other VPN before? How'd you get your credentials? I bet they were emailed to you. You can still do that with SNS VPN if you want, but we built a more secure way. Each of your VPN users can log in and retrieve their credentials securely from the dashboard so that you don't have to send them using a less secure method like email. Long before this pandemic, customers were looking to us for recommendations and assistance choosing and configuring a VPN. In fact, we've published several articles on this topic, but many customers, if given the choice, would rather not have to go through the hassle of researching and selecting, configuring, troubleshooting. They just want something that works now. And of course, this year, more than ever, time is of the essence to solve remote workflow challenges. Our VPN service can be a rapid deployment, not weeks or days. Deployment time is usually about an hour. One of our architecture goals for this product was to create it in a way that most customers would have no networking and firewall changes to make on their end. And pilot customers have proven that we succeeded with this goal. Some of you may have an IT team that already provides a company-wide VPN. They may be frustrated with your unique needs and may be happy to have the media team using a service that's more appropriate. This may be a better and more convenient alternative for you and them. Or maybe your company already has a VPN, but it doesn't even include your team. Again, because you have unique requirements. As you saw earlier, we include a web portal that's painless to administer, easy to see who's active, and doesn't put things in your way that you don't need. You can easily manage all of your remote users through the simple to use web console without the assistance of IT. And of course, this service is backed by our support team. Every decision we've made about this product has been considered for security implications. If there was something that didn't need to be in there, it stayed out. We chose security at every turn. Here are just a few examples. We're using something called OIDC, which I'm sure you've seen before. This is a highly secure method of authentication, which lets you reuse your username, your password, your two-factor auth settings from services like Google, Microsoft, and others. Now, this means we don't store your passwords in our service. We were then also able to avoid building seemingly mundane functions like resetting forgotten passwords, which have interesting security trade-offs no matter how they're implemented. Our service is closer to a zero trust model. It only allows traffic to and from specific devices from specific users on the private network. It's not built so that you can access everything in your office, just your Evo. Last, we're using a billing backend that is certified to the payment card industry's service provider level 1. That's the most stringent level of certification available. One of the things everyone wants to know is, how fast is it? This question, unfortunately, is impossible to answer in any simple number that applies to everyone. The reason, of course, is that we're dealing with internet connections. Your office's internet speed or wherever your Evo is only part of the picture. The main purpose of a VPN, of course, is to enable our remote users. And so their internet speeds are an inseparable part of the performance question. The overall congestion at a given time on the internet also comes into play. As I'm sure you've experienced, your own speed tests can at times be much lower than what your internet provider is claiming. We wanted to build a secure service, but we also wanted the best performance we could possibly get over the internet. To achieve that, we built this service from the ground up. We performance tested it for about a month, and then we decided we didn't like it. We then completely scrapped our first implementation and built it a different way. Our current implementation is not only more secure, but multiple times faster. We tested performance in various data centers from different parts of the world using symmetric gigabit fiber on both ends. We traced the paths of major internet backbones for optimal routes. Geographical distance isn't always the shortest path. Wire distance is more important. So we're supporting multiple data centers in major regions. We also gave very high priority to the SMB protocol. And that's the one that most of you already use, which isn't the easiest protocol to optimize for the internet. We think we've done a very good job here. So far, what we're seeing is that we're improving performance in instances where we're replacing an existing VPN. Ultimately, our performance goal is not to be the bottleneck in the chain. Again, we're dealing with internet connections. So let's take a look at something. We did a lot of research on broadband internet, and we discovered some surprising facts. Average internet performance in most places is not great. Here are averages for a few major areas, and these are download speeds for broadband internet. This table isn't necessarily indicating performance of SNS VPN. It's just showing average download rates for typical broadband in some major areas. But SNS VPN is a cloud service, and we're always going to have to consider that the performance question includes the connection speed at your office and the speed of your remote users. There will always be an upload component to our data transfer, and most internet connections are asymmetric, meaning they download faster than they upload. Here's the average upload speed, 44 megabits. And I bet many of your remote users would be thrilled to see an upload speed like that. I mentioned earlier that we're giving each subscriber a monthly transfer allowance. This is how we arrived at that number. And this is why we think many customers won't exceed it, because typical internet speeds make it very difficult. In case you're wondering, the official definition of internet broadband, according to the FCC, is 25 megabits down and 3 megabits up. Not great. So what can you do with SNS VPN? All of your share browser capabilities are available from anywhere. Tagging, searching, using bins, previewing media. This is especially true for Share Browser Web. In fact, that product was built from day one knowing it would need to work really well over typical broadband internet connections. I mentioned earlier that we optimized SNS VPN to work with the SMB protocol, which is, again, what most of you are using with your Evo systems. This means you can use it to transfer files across the service just as you would if you were in the studio. It's not uncommon for our customers to have multiple Evo systems located in different offices. You can also use your VPN subscription as a bridge to enable slingshot automations across Evo systems in different locations. You can also use another one of our recent products, Nomad. By now you've probably heard of it, but for those who may not be familiar, here's how Nomad works. Your full res and proxy media, obviously it lives on your Evo. And your Evo creates proxies in the background as you add media to it. And when you're ready to go remote, Nomad finds all the relevant media that you need and assembles a nice portable package for you. You can simply point Nomad to your project folder that contains your full res media files. Or you can give Nomad your Premiere project file that already references your full res media. Nomad will identify the online files in your Premiere project, then locate the matching proxy files. So with Nomad's help, you download your proxy files, and then it's a familiar offline editing workflow after that. And at that point, you could even work without any internet connection at all. Nomad is simply helping you to quickly and easily get the files you need so you can edit and review from home. To state an important point, you can use any VPN with Nomad. It does not have to be SNS VPN. I think there may be some people wondering if by creating SNS VPN, we've somehow broken the ability to use some other VPN. That's not what we've done. If you're happy with your VPN that you already have, you can certainly keep using it. If you want to bring your own VPN in the future, there's nothing we've done here that prevents that. We're not breaking something that's already working for you. Your Evo will work with any properly configured VPN that you set up in your network. But if you don't have a VPN, or you have a VPN that's not working for you for some reason, or you simply just need remote access as quickly as possible, we think you'll love SNS VPN. So you've got all the pieces to the puzzle. Evo works in the background to create your proxy files. Share Browser helps your team organize and find their media. Nomad extracts those files into portable packages. And SNS VPN gives you convenient, simple, and secure access to do familiar workflow from anywhere. Another thing, Nomad not only helps to speed up your remote workflow, it also helps keep your monthly transfer lower because you won't always be working with high-res source files. You can work with smaller proxy files. You'll of course want not just quick ways to manage your users, but also to see the status of your VPN service. So the dashboard gives you account level and user level transfer statistics, at a glance display of recently active users, administrative budget control with a quick way to see if your triggers were ever exceeded, and an account level manual on-off switch, which you can change as often and as much as you need. So let's do a quick recap and then go on to pricing. SNS Cloud VPN has security built in at every step. You can be up and running with this VPN service in about an hour, and there are usually no networking changes needed on your end. We've built features that make sense for media teams, including simple administration and monitoring. And our VPN is fully supported by SNS. So here's how we're rolling out our pricing. First, it's a monthly plan with no contract. You can cancel whenever you want. The cost is $350 per month, and that amount includes a monthly transfer allowance of up to 10 terabytes. Most customers won't hit it even if they were to transfer 24/7. But if you're concerned you may go over what's included, you can use the dashboard's budgeting controls to prevent that. If you exceed the monthly allowance, your account will be billed in $15 increments per terabyte. There is no per user pricing and no setup fee. And we have 8 data center regions around the world, including US coasts, London, Amsterdam, and more. Well, what do you do if you want to activate SNS VPN for your company? Once you're ready to subscribe, contact your reseller or your SNS rep, or follow the steps in the next slide to start from our website. We provision your cloud portal and then let you know when it's ready. You then schedule a time with our support team. They'll remotely install the software plugin on your Evo. That's the one we discussed earlier. They'll check connectivity for you, then step through the basics with you. And that usually takes an hour or less. They then hand over the keys to your new portal. You take administration from there, which consists of adding the users you want and giving them access to their credentials. They install a software client onto their device and have secure remote access to Evo. If you'd like to get a personalized demo of Evo and the full software suite, including Share Browser, Slingshot, and Nomad, or if you want more information about SNS Cloud VPN, head over to studionetworksolutions.com and click How to Buy for more information. Thank you all so much for joining our webinar today.